The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Zethkari's crystalline voice rang through the vast hall. His forearms gestured dramatically at the holographic display, showing human soldiers in action. These humans, he spat the word like poison, have violated every principle of civilized warfare. They fight with reckless abandon, show no regard for tactical doctrine, and worst of all, they smile while doing it. Representative Morlack from the hegemony nodded his massive head, his tusks gleaming under the chamber's bioluminescent lighting. The footage from the Kepler 442 incident is disturbing. No species should find joy in combat. The hologram shifted, showing human Marines charging through plasma fire, laughing as they dove behind cover, high-fiving each other after successful flanking maneuvers. One soldier was caught on camera winking at a drone camera while dual-wielding pulse rifles. Motion carried, declared the Council Prime, her tentacles writhing in apparent disgust. Humans are hereby banned from all military operations within Galactic Council space. They may serve in support roles only, logistics, medical, engineering, but never again in combat. Earth's representative, Ambassador Sarah Chen, stood slowly. The chamber expected protest, anger, perhaps even threats. Instead, she smiled, that same unsettling human expression that had disturbed the Council for months. "We accept," she said simply. The Council members exchanged glances. This was too easy. 3 months later, the Void Runners attacked. The insectoid species emerged from dark space like a plague of nightmares, their bioships swarming through the outer systems. They had no interest in negotiation, no desire for conquest, only consumption. Entire worlds went silent within hours of first contact. The Galactic Defense Fleet mobilized, their tactics precise and calculated. Formations held perfect geometric patterns, weapons fired in synchronized volleys, and retreat protocols were executed with mathematical precision. It was exactly what any military academy would teach. It was also completely ineffective. The Void Runners didn't follow tactical doctrine either. But unlike humans, they moved with alien intelligence and predatory instinct. They flowed around defensive positions like water, struck from impossible angles, and seemed to anticipate every strategic move. Within 2 weeks, the outer rim had fallen. Within a month, core worlds were under siege. That's when the distress call reached human space. "Absolutely not," Zethkari's voice cracked through the quantum communicator. "We will not lift the combat ban. Find another way." Colonel James Mitchell, recently reassigned to logistics coordination, chuckled as he reviewed the tactical reports. Around him in the Earth Defense Force headquarters, other support personnel were doing the same, former Navy SEALs running supply operations, ex-Marines handling equipment maintenance, and Special Forces veterans managing personnel transport. "Sir," his aide approached carefully, "we've received unofficial requests from 17 different worlds. They're asking for technical consultants and equipment specialists." Mitchell's grin widened. "Well then, we'd better not disappoint. After all, we're just logistics now." The first consultant to arrive was Master Sergeant Rodriguez, officially designated as a mechanical systems advisor for the defense platforms around Proxima Station. She brought with her a team of technical specialists and several crates of diagnostic equipment. The diagnostic equipment happened to include experimental railguns. The technical specialists happened to be Force Recon Marines. When the Void Runners attacked Proxima Station, they expected the same rigid defense they'd encountered everywhere else. Instead, they found humans who treated war like jazz, improvised, chaotic, and absolutely ruthless. Rodriguez's team didn't hold formations. They moved like ghosts through the station's corridors. They didn't follow standard firing patterns. They ambushed from ventilation shafts, utility tunnels, and cargo bays. When surrounded, they didn't surrender. They laughed and started juggling grenades. The Void Runners had never encountered anything like it. Their hive-mind intelligence, so effective against predictable tactics, couldn't process the beautiful insanity of human warfare. How do you predict an enemy who uses pizza delivery drones as improvised bombers? How do you counter opponents who communicate through movie quotes and obscure cultural references? Word spread quickly through both official and unofficial channels. More consultants arrived, bringing training materials and diagnostic equipment. Former Delta Force operators became communications specialists. Navy SEALs were reclassified as aquatic systems. Engineers. Army Rangers took positions as rapid, Deployment Logistics Coordinators. On Kepler 186, Captain Torres and her environmental systems team turned an entire jungle into a death maze, complete with booby traps inspired by ancient Earth movies and improvised weapons that shouldn't have worked, but somehow did. On Wolf 359, Major Kim's transportation specialists conducted the most successful evacuation operation in galactic history, which coincidentally involved evacuating all enemy forces from the plane of existence. The Galactic Council watched in growing amazement as world after world began reporting victories. The tactical reports made no sense. Void Runner fleets weren't being defeated through superior firepower or brilliant strategy. They were being confused, outmaneuvered, and sometimes literally pranked to death. The turning point came at the Battle of New Geneva, where Colonel Mitchell himself led a supply convoy that happened to include every piece of surplus equipment Earth could spare. The Void Runners sent their entire reserve fleet to intercept what they assumed was a crucial logistics operation. They weren't wrong, it was crucial, just not in the way they expected. When the smoke cleared, the Void Runner fleet was gone, and human logistics personnel were sending achievement notifications to Earth Command like they'd just completed a particularly challenging video game level. Ambassador Zeth Kari stood once again before the Galactic Council, this time holding a data pad with casualty reports and territorial recovery statistics. His crystalline voice had lost its earlier confidence. The humans, he began slowly, have somehow managed to coordinate the most effective counteroffensive in Council history, while technically never engaging in combat. Ambassador Chen smiled that same unsettling smile. Our logistics are very thorough. They've redesignated war crimes as aggressive technical consulting, Morlack added weakly. Motion to lift the combat ban? The Council Prime asked, though her tone suggested she already knew the answer. Chen's smile widened. Oh no, that won't be necessary. We're quite happy with our current roles, though we might need to expand our consulting services. I understand you have a piracy problem in the Vega sector. The council members looked at each other in growing horror. The humans had just won a galactic war while officially banned from fighting. What exactly would happen if they were actually allowed to fight? Perhaps, they decided collectively, some questions were better left unanswered. In the aftermath, military academies across the galaxy began offering new courses: Advanced Human Logistics, Creative Problem Solving Under Fire, and Understanding Terran Equipment Specifications. The Void Runners never returned. Some say they're still running. Others suggest they've opened a support group for trauma recovery. The humans, meanwhile, continued their logistics work with characteristic enthusiasm, whistling while they worked, and occasionally high-fiving over particularly efficient supply distributions. After all, someone had to keep the galaxy's paperwork in order.